Welcome, everyone. I'm Barb Chodas, President and Publisher of the San Diego Business Journal. First, I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting the San Diego Business Journal by attending today's event to celebrate these amazing, inspiring, and successful women in our community. Today's event is our first in-person event since the pandemic, and we're looking so forward to resuming all of our events in person. I think we can all agree that we've been zoomed out, and the opportunity to see each other in person and reconnect is something we no longer can take for granted. In selecting this year's theme, we thought a lot about the opportunity of reconnecting and re-engaging, what that brings to all of us. And what stood out is that more than ever, women must commit to supporting and empowering each other in order for all of us to thrive in our professional and personal lives. Women empowering women is essential to our success, and we hope that today's event inspires each and every one of you to do this because our lives will be much more rewarding and fulfilling. So let's start by congratulating all of our finalists. Finalists, will you please stand up? And please refer to the screen for the complete list, as well as the November 8th publication. Congratulations, finalists. You make the community of business very proud. Now let's begin our program. First, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Without their support, this event would not be possible, especially in these extraordinary times when companies have to be selective and prioritize. These companies made the choice of supporting women a priority. By sponsoring this event, they have demonstrated a commitment to empowering women, and we can't thank them enough. Please join me in thanking J.P. Morgan Chase & Company, our platinum sponsors, Kaiser Permanente, Tutris, Union Bank, and Wells Fargo, and our gold sponsor, Cox Communications. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Let's give them a round of applause. Now, before we begin our awards ceremony, we are honored to present to all of you a panel of inspiring and very successful women. The topic is Women Empowering Women. Will all the panelists please come to the stage? And everyone, hopefully you've seen the centerpieces on your table. Each of you can grab a notebook and a pen, as I'm sure all of you will want to take some notes about what these amazing women are going to be discussing and sharing. So let's start by introducing the moderator of today's panel, 𝙂𝙧𝙚𝙚𝙣𝙚. Nikki is the Divisional Director of Wealth for West Division for J.P. Morgan Chase Management. As Divisional Director, she leads a team of 6 regional directors, 54 market directors, and over 1,200 financial advisors in 8 states in the West. She has been with the firm for over 20 years and has been here in San Diego for over 10 years. Nikki is very involved in the military community. She is on the board of Bunker Labs, an organization dedicated to helping U.S. veterans start and grow their own businesses. Please join me in welcoming Nikki.
Thank you, Barb, and good afternoon, everyone. I am so excited to moderate this panel. The theme of women empowering women is certainly something that's near and dear to my heart. And I think intentionally supporting women is so important because so many women that are really talented with a ton of potential are never going to raise their hands and say, hey, I'd love a mentor, or I could use some support, or would love an advocate. That's why I truly feel like it's our responsibility to make that happen. That's how we build better businesses and how we build better communities. We've got an amazing panel and a room full of successful people, and I know if I were to ask, I would hear from all of them that they did not reach their level of success alone. So I'm really looking forward to hearing the insights from the panelists and walking away with some tactical ways that I can make a difference. We're going to start by letting our panelists introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about why empowering women is so important to them. Then I'll ask a couple of questions, and we'll let them leave us all with one final thought. So let's first hear from Teresa Clements, Treasury Solutions Group Executive and Executive Director for JP Morgan.
Thanks, Nikki. I lead the Treasury Management practice here in Southern California for JP Morgan Chase in our middle market banking. But more importantly, I'm also a site leader for San Diego for our JP Morgan Women on the Move. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I know that, Nikki, you had mentioned or asked about what it means to empower women, and two main things come to mind for me. The first thing is really instilling confidence in women and working women in the workplace. And the second thing is building future women leaders and building up existing leaders.
Excellent. Next, we'll hear from Lydia Heward, Mortgage Retail Market Manager with Wells Fargo. Lydia?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Well, my name is Lydia Heward. I am the Market Manager for Retail and Private Mortgage Banking in the Mortgage Division. And I got to say that business line for me is so important when you consider the home. And when you consider leadership, and especially for women, I come from a Hispanic background. My mother was the strength of the home. She was the glue that started everything. Although my father was kind of the worker part and provided, nothing happened without my mother. And I have two daughters as well. I have a granddaughter. We have two dogs that are labs. So you can see there's a lot of influence of women in my household. But the reality is that I think, like you said, leadership starts not only from the present, but it's what we're doing in the future. Being part of the retail mortgage banking part, I do know that the home is where everything starts. Very excited and very happy to be part of that, and to also, just make sure that we make differences to people in regards to expanding the next generation. So I'm looking forward to the questions that you're going to have here today and how we're going to share some of that information. Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you, Lydia.
Sure.
And now we have Alessandra Lizama, CEO of Tutris.
Hello, everyone. Whoa, I'm going to have to stand back.
Hello, Alessandra.
It's a privilege to be here with extraordinary women, because I truly believe that it's extraordinary women that make the world go around. And honestly, my story is very personal, and so I'm ecstatic to be here and share it with you. I'm an immigrant, single mom, came to this country without knowing anyone, chasing the dream. And I am into my fifth company, being the CEO, this one, Tutris, being the founder and CEO. And the only reason I was able to pull myself up by the bootstraps and get myself to a C-level position and then the boardroom was because I was privileged to have a structure around me that supported me, that guided me, that mentored me, and that really, really cared about my success. So the topic here is very, very, warm in my heart, and more importantly, it's at the root and the mission of Tutris, providing every working parent, especially women that have been impacted disproportionately during the pandemic, with opportunity to get back into the workforce with peace of mind. So thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Outstanding. And last, we have Christiane Suda, who's Vice President and Senior Portfolio Manager in the Private Bank at Union Bank.
Thanks. Thank you for having me on this distinguished panel of successful women. My name is Chris Suda. I am a Senior Portfolio Manager with Union Bank. I've been with the bank for 11 years, and I've been in public markets creating solutions for over 34 years. I truly enjoy working in my current role with this terrific team. Some of my team members are here, creating asset allocations, customized solutions, actively managing portfolios to ensure that all of our clients meet their goals and needs. And increasingly, these clients are women, and we have dedicated resources for our Women and Wealth strategy, which I'll get into later.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Well, let's jump in with our questions. Teresa, we're going to start with you. What specific actions can women take to truly support and empower women? And please share any specific examples of what you've done in your workplace to support women.
Yeah, Nikki, I'd like to ad-lib a little bit to that first part of what women can do and add what women and men can do, right, to help and empower women in the workplace. I really think it's about getting to know individuals on a personal level, really thinking about what it is that makes them unique and really getting to know their story. That's incredibly important, and the time that you spend with an individual to hear about them, that will continue to build the confidence like I talked about before and allow you to elevate them in future conversations. So on the men's side, I would say being a great ally. I happen to work with some fantastic men, and they are really great allies. They're asking the questions, and I think through the pandemic, that conversation has continued to get to the level that it needs to really understand what women in the workplace and working women truly are going through and what their needs are. To the second part, which is really about supporting women, we happen to have a really great program, and I would encourage those of you to take a look at your workplace with your employer and find out what organizations within your organization they have available. So we happen to have Women on the Move, and Women on the Move was founded in 2013, and it helps not only employees, women employees, it helps to build up allyship, but it also is about expanding women-run businesses and more financial literacy. Additionally, there's also other network groups outside. Being in financial industry, there's a Women in Payments. So it's really about sharing what it is that you've found with the folks that you work with and getting people involved, excited, and engaged.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Lydia?
Great. Yeah, so same question. You know, I was thinking back, there aren't very many people that get to certain levels and you think, you know what, if I work hard enough, if I show up, if I'm early, if I'm putting the job in, I'm staying late, I'm doing everything, but yet nobody knows what your career, what your desire is, I think we fall short. And I think when we're empowering not only women but men, is I think you have to be bold. And I'm gonna talk about 3 B's, right? Be bold. Bold to say to whomever, this is where I want to be, or this is where I'm striving, right? Second is to be brilliant. Brilliant in the sense that makes you stand out. When I was a loan officer, and then I went to be a branch manager, and I always knew I wanted to be an area manager and a market manager, I acted as if. I took the worst branch, I turned that around. I mean, and everybody does that, right? They give you the first, like, here, take this little branch, see what happens. And you take it, and you turn it around, and you all of a sudden become brilliant. And they're like, how did she do that? How did that happen? Well, I only needed a chance in order to do that, right? To make sure. And then, when the time came to meet the right people, I had to be brief. Don't talk their ears off on all the accomplishments that you've done because you already know, but make sure that you're brief to the point and make sure you get that next networking. So I would tell you to be, again, bold, state what you want, be brilliant in what you do, and then be brief to make sure that they can take that in and set you apart. So those are things that I did in order to get to my position, and it has worked out really well.
That's great, and those are really tactical. Excellent. Alessandra?
Yeah.
All right, so same question. So I'll tackle it a little bit differently, and I'll say that, while yes, we can't do this without all the men, wonderful men in the world, I really want to hone in on how women can help other women. And that starts in the home. That starts when you're born. That starts with the culture that you create and the value system that we have at home so that little girls can grow up to be self-secure about their capabilities and their role in the world. So we need to talk to them, we need to read them books, we need to get them engaged, we need to get them involved from a very early stage, because the number one cause for women not succeeding in business is lack of self-esteem or lack of security, or simply, hey, is this my place in the world, right? And so I think that as a woman, where I focus a lot of my energy is mentoring the little tiny girls that are in all those programs that help them thrive and help empower them and really enjoy that high that comes from achieving their milestones. So creating plans from a very, very early stage, creating checklists, and just having them realize that high that comes from achieving, number one. So it starts in the home. Number two, it starts at the top of every organization. But in order to create that synergy, you've got to create pressure from the bottom up. So you've got to talk about it. You got to make it important. You've got to be loud. You've got to say it's important to you. You got to talk to your colleagues. You got to get people excited, because unless you're able to create the pressure from the bottom up, the top won't respond, unfortunately. But if you can engage senior level executives, then it has to become an initiative with purpose, because lots of words and no actions lead to no results. So you need action. To enact action, there needs to be an initiative. GTSOP, get that paper, okay? I'm in technology. Sorry, I was beeping myself. I'm in technology, everything has an acronym, all right? So GTSOP it, you've gotta have goals, you've gotta have purpose. And then you have to make everyone in the organization be part of it and recognize the win for them. Because empowering women is actually a win for all. And unless we're able to document that and hear the voices of everyone, then we won't understand what their personal, professional, financial, and thriving goals are. And unless we have that well structured, it's not gonna happen. So lots of this, no action, doesn't happen. And lastly, care for women, celebrate women, commend women, and graduate women, because as a woman, we know that we're capable and we know that we can do it, but sometimes just that little bit of celebration, telling each other how wonderful we are, what a beautiful family we've created, what a great promotion we've just had, or hey, just giving each other a little of security. Hey, put your name in the hat for that position, you're the best. Because guess what? Men never care whether they are qualified or not before putting their name on the hat. And 9 out of 10 times they get the job anyway, right? And I've got a great story, true story. I lost a VP position because I was so afraid I was just not qualified, and the guy that got the job was less qualified than me, but he was bold enough, to your point, to put their name in the hat. So speak up, be loud, certainly starts in the home, starts from the top down, create pressure from the bottom up, and make it happen. GTSOP it.
GTSOP it. Outstanding. Chris, how about you?
GTSOP.
I know.
How do you follow that? So I took the question in two directions, because as an organization, we work with a lot of women. So first, how do we empower women? We actually know that women are going to be controlling upwards of $60 trillion of wealth in this country by 2030. 70% of women within 1 year of their spouse passing are deciding to change their advisors. And 88% of women, according to Fidelity, are in need of more financial education. And that's where we believe empowering women is really coming alongside women and helping educate, helping to demystify some of these acronyms and these terminologies that sometimes I believe exist only to confuse everybody. So why is it a basis point? Why is it fixed income and bonds? Why is it, you get the gist. We come alongside women help educate, empower, and really build some confidence, and that really leads to results. The other part that I look at is internally, my peers. And I've worked in this industry for 30 years, and I look around the room, and oftentimes I see maybe one or two other women alongside me. And oftentimes, we do speak up, we do make our opinions heard, and then we're dismissed as being emotional or not well thought out. And it's this sisterhood of women that have come alongside to say, no, you're passionate, you're not emotional. And so just coming alongside each other internally and, navigating through those life moments where you're an empty nester or you're caring for, an elderly parent or you're looking at your own illness. These are sisterhoods that are created, and like Alessandra said, a kind word, a supportive word goes a long way to making sure that everyone succeeds.
Excellent. Absolutely. All right, next question. What do you think the barriers have been to getting women to support each other, and how do we overcome those barriers? Teresa, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Nikki, I find this question very interesting because I think each of us have a unique experience. I've been lucky enough to not experience as much of this. I've always been incredibly supported by the women that I work with and lifting each other up. But I did think about different instances that this necessarily wasn't the case. And so to really hone in and think about that side of it, I think it's important to be honest, tell your truth, and when you're talking to other women, is to not make it seem like everything is great and okay and that you are able to juggle 5 million things, but to really be transparent about what's happening, maybe what you're struggling with, because I think that you will find that everybody that you talk to is also struggling, and to know that, okay, I can get through this and have that support is incredibly important, because I do see that I had run across some situations where I'm pretty sure, same as Alessandra, I had gotten turned down for, I think it was the same job 3 different times, and guess what? I kept going back after it. But from the outside looking in, it looked like I was a shoo-in and I got that job no problem. Nobody knew the story of all that effort and time and work that got put into it. And to be able to be honest and open and talk about that, and talk about how you overcame that and how you approached the situation, and help other women to achieve that same thing within, whether it's going on in their personal life or also here at work. So that's really how I think about that. Last thing I will say with respect to this is, I go back to when the pandemic happened. I feel like all of a sudden there was this very even playing field. You're on Zoom calls and you have, I have managing directors that have their 4 and 5-year-olds that are popping their head in, and it made me feel like I still remember that and thinking, this is great. They finally understand how it is to juggle all this, and I've heard from many of them to say, look, I had no idea, and to get back in the office, and it really created this community, I think, within, our teams and our groups, so.
Yeah, we're all able to say, welcome to our lives,
Yes.
right? I think those are such great points,
Yes.
and I think it is vital that we're able to be vulnerable and share our failures, mistakes, and opportunities. So I think that's such a great point. Lydia?
Sure. So barriers, I think I've been in this industry for over 30 years. Hate to say that. Some of you are not even that old in this room, right? So breaking the ceiling and breaking the barriers has to be about thinking different. And I so remember my mother saying, you know what, now that you're married, your job is to take care of your husband. And, somehow that just didn't seem to suit me, right? And and then now when I had my first child, right, a daughter, well, your job, mijita, Es para cuidar las niñas. You got to take care of the girls, right? They're girls. They can't be doing that. And you know, it really made me realize I had to think differently. How did I get childcare? We didn't have this service, all right? I actually had to, you know, look at different ways to take care of my children so that I could go and spend time in the corporate world, right? And I think there's one thing that really helped me was to connect in a group of other like-minded women. And whether that be a network, whether it be a book club, and I'm gonna just tell you, people always say, just say no. I'm gonna tell you the opposite, just say yes, right? And if you're a big Shonda Rhimes advocate of her book, you say yes to the right things. You say yes to what matters to you, and don't be limited by what other people are putting on you. And God bless my mother, she was great in her generation, but she was an immigrant here. My first language was Spanish, and I went to school with, you know, trenzas, which were basically braids, and I brought my burritos, and I brought all those things. But you know what? The fact is that I knew there was something different for me, there was something different for my daughters. I'm happy to state, you know what, our job as for me as a leader in my household, and my husband's just as much of a leader for different reasons for men, really take that role seriously. A kind word, a gentle way, where you're positioning your children make a difference. My oldest daughter is, you know, the attendee of UCLA in pediatrics intensive care unit, right? My youngest is a sergeant here in the San Diego Sheriff's Department. I mean, these are completely different than what my mother, a generation before, would have ever thought for her daughter, her granddaughters, and now I have a granddaughter. So I will tell you, go to places that enlighten you. Think differently. Those barriers are not barriers, they're just bumps in the road. So I would absolutely tell you, get to, you know, what you're doing here and just listen to something different.
I think that's such great perspective when you think about not only we all come from a different place culturally, but recognizing that others do too, and making sure that they have the opportunities to grow that. That's great perspective. Alessandra?
Mm-hmm. So the barriers. Number one barrier is that women by nature, our DNA is that we are caregivers. And while there are different cultures that expect women to stay home and care for the kids and or the husband, that's, I feel, beside the point. The point is that 2.5 million women dropped out of the workforce in the last year alone, not because anybody told them to stay home and take care of their husbands and children, but because they made the decision to do so because the crisis was at such point that they felt that they had to step up and do that. So it's in our DNA. And that's okay, because guess what? Women don't have to be the same as men to succeed. And we don't have to compete with men to succeed. So one of the most important barriers in women succeeding is that at times we catch ourselves trying to compete to be better and or equal to men. Well, guess what? We are extraordinary and we are so different by DNA. So find your strength, recognize your weakness, and leverage from your strength mitigating from your weaknesses. You've got to have a personal strategy. One of the number one questions that I get asked in every forum, hey, Alessandra, you're a woman CEO, PE-backed 5 times. How does it feel to be a female CEO in a predominantly male industry? You want to know what my number one answer is? I don't know, because I've never thought of myself as a female CEO in a predominantly male industry. I feel like a damn good CEO and the best CEO there's out there. And I've been able to build organizations from the ground up that men have failed at, but not because they were men and not because I'm a woman, but because I have unique strengths that I have leveraged. So Another component to why women don't succeed and the barrier is think of yourself as an athlete in one of my favorite sports, which is track and field. And you know why it's one of my favorite sports? Because you compete against yourself. You're always trying to top your last best record. And you're not looking to anybody else. You're clocking yourself and you're going, and you're conditioning your body and you're staying focused on your strategy and you're positioning yourself to be better every day. Let's take on that kind of mentality, to your point. Thinking differently is thinking outside of the wheelhouse and the hamster wheel that keeps us doing the same things over and over again and not getting ahead. Jump out of the hamster wheel, think a little bit different, mark where you are, know what your goals are, and start measuring yourself instead of looking over your shoulder to see what man is ahead of you or what woman is or not ahead or behind you. Focus on yourself. Wi-Fi, another acronym. What's in it for I? I'm a firm believer, okay? I'm a firm believer that you need to be in a good place before you can help others. Kind of like the mask in the plane. You put on your mask on first. Because if you don't, you'll faint, and then you can't help your little ones or the granny. And then you become a burden. You faint, and you become the burden. So in business, another barrier is that we're all kind of trampling over each other to try and help each other. Worry about yourself first. Get yourself to a really good place. Get yourself to a position of power. Get yourself to a position where you have a voice, and then extend your hand. It's kind of like that barrel of monkeys, I like to say. I grew up with a little barrel of monkeys. They were plastic. They had one hand up, one hand down. Life is like that, okay? We always need somebody's help, and once we get to a place, we should extend the other hand to bring someone up, which brings me to the third barrier. Women hate to ask for help because we are super women and we can multitask and we can do everything. You know what? Just like women have certain DNA, men have also their very unique DNA, but the one DNA that we all share as human beings is we love to help. Barrier to break, that barrier is so easy to break. Ask for help, raise your hand. I used to go to my boss and say, I want you to help me become the vice president of sales. You have to help me better understand how I have to position myself, because guess what? In life, just like in real estate, it's location, location, location. In life is triple P, P to the cube, which is positioning, positioning, positioning. So you have to learn how to ask for help, because asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. I'll leave it there.
Absolutely. So I heard a couple things there. The DNA that can work against us is what actually makes us successful if we focus on it. And then I know I say that phrase a lot at home because I have children who are constantly going, did you see what he did or she did? And I always say, you know what, how about you just focus on yourself? And I'm hearing if we do that in the workplace, that works too. So great advice. Chris?
So back to my theme of, two aspects. So when we look at financial education, we actually have realized that women are probably the biggest barrier to their own financial education not moving forward. And that's because so many times we meet women who just say, well, my husband does it all. He takes care of this. I'm looking at one of my partners here, and we have a client who literally never came out of the car to come into the branch to do any of her financial activities until her husband had a stroke, and he was bedridden for 10 years. And so then we had to come alongside this lovely woman who now she calls me at the end of the year every year, Chris, where are my mutual fund distributions? I need to write my checks. So it's the barrier to financial education is a lot of times ourselves, our unwillingness to step out into something that we might not be comfortable with, and abdicating those responsibilities to someone else who we trust, who we don't know is going to be there in the future or not. That's probably the biggest barrier. And then finding those trusted partners. It's very difficult in the financial world. Nowadays, everybody's a financial advisor, everyone's a wealth planner, everyone is this. So finding that trusted team is a chore and often a barrier to entry, because it just it's that analysis paralysis. You don't know what you don't know, and so I might as well just not do anything. Those are probably the biggest barriers. And then internally, as I have focused on, what is holding us back as women, colleagues, often when I look around the room and I see there's only one or two other women in the room, it feels like a zero-sum game. And I'll turn your attention to the back of your agenda here. The third quote is, "Her success is not your failure." So just because there are only 3 women in the room, having another person be successful doesn't mean that I won't be successful. I actually feel it's going to double our success and open additional spots for additional women to come into the world that we live in.
I think we are our own worst enemy sometimes, and one of my favorite quotes is, "Be the woman who fixes another woman's crown without letting the world know it was crooked," right? So I think that's such great perspective. So ladies, quickly,
Yes.
One last thought you want to leave the audience with.
First and foremost, if you're having a bad day and you need a little kick in the butt, I think you need to call Alessandra. I know I will, but that wasn't my final thought. It just became my first final thought, so thank you. Really, truly have confidence and find a group of different-minded women that can really challenge you.
Great. I'm going to leave you. I think pictures, affirmations, things that motivate you are so important. I have a picture that I have in my office, my home office, and it's myself, my 2 brothers, my grandmother, and my father. And my mother's taking the picture. Now, you heard really quick that my mother was like the stronghold. She told me what I needed to do, what not to do. But with the nod of a head, my dad could always overturn that. So for the gentleman in the room, the story is that women, little girls, did not wear cowboy hats. My father was from Arizona. We went to go visit. I wanted that cowboy hat. Do I have that cowboy hat on my head in that picture? You bet I do. And the reason I do is not because of my mother, it's because of my father. And my mother is not in the picture, and I gotta say, I give a lot of credit to my father, the quiet one, but he was the strength in that, and to make me the leader that I am. So whether it be a crown or a hat, wear it proudly and make sure that you always ask for what you want. Okay.
Love it.
Beautiful. So for me, being that my story has everything to do with being a single mom and now being in a position of power after having put myself in that Wi-Fi mode, it's all about empowering women to get back into the workforce. And for me, that is, they need to have peace of mind, and we know that women are the caregivers. And so in order to enable that, you need to start in the first 5 years of life. Children develop 90% of their brain in the first 5 years of life. And due to the lack of access and affordability to childcare, 90% of children that need to be in an early childhood education program of quality don't reach their maximum potential as it relates to their developmental milestones. And that's where it all starts. Little girls need to role play at that age. They learn who they are and what their place in life is. And so therefore, as a community, we have to recognize that investing in women starts at birth, investing in women starts in early childhood education, and investing in women means that they need to have the liberty to be at work with peace of mind that their family is in a great place. When I founded Tutris, I did so wanting to reinvent childcare, making it convenient, affordable, and on demand for everyone. And I truly believe that that is the backbone of how we're going to change this world. So thank you.
Excellent. Chris, take us home.
All right, so I think one of the things that women are notoriously poor at doing is networking. So network away, women. I think it helps to always ask questions. I'm always asking why, and getting out there, networking, asking the questions, adding to your knowledge, both financial, but also be in tune with your own instincts. Because if something doesn't feel right, there is probably something that needs to be questioned. So I am happy to, be employed by a company that really values educating women. Union Bank has a dedicated website to help women in wealth, and that is on the unionbank.com website. It's called HEARD. So not only, I actually joke, I don't like the name very much, but it's women are being heard. Is the reason for it. So unionbank.com, HEARD, and it has resources, recorded seminars, and other things that are very non-intimidating to get some of the initial information.
Ladies, that was amazing. A theme I heard was be intentional, right? Get to know people personally, join programs, be bold, say what's on your mind, be brief, but be loud. Mentor children early on, get involved, be intentional with education, just say yes, stay focused on yourself, and GTSOP, right? So when we leave and reflect on today and why this is so important, I want you to recognize that this is an opportunity for us to lead from the front and be intentional, right? Because I have no doubt when somebody raises their hand and a woman says, I could use some help, we all step up to the plate. But what do we do when they don't raise their hand, right? You don't have to be a CEO or a managing director or even a manager to provide an introduction, share an experience, or to provide some feedback. That's something that we can all do. So please join me in thanking our panelists. And Barb, I turn it back to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Nikki, and to all of our panelists. We appreciate all of your insights, and to show our appreciation, we have a little gift for you. It's a gold bracelet engraved, Empowered Women, Empower Women.
Thank you so much.
Now, let's begin our award ceremony. We had an incredible year of participation with hundreds of nominations representing a wide variety of industries. Nominations are submitted by the community, and the SDBJ's executive team selects the finalists. Independent judges select the winners. Today, we are awarding a total of 10 awards in the following categories: Rising Star, Small, Medium, and Large Companies. Winners, when you hear your name, please come to the left of the stage, and you will have a few moments for remarks. After your remarks, please go to the back of the room to have your individual picture taken, and at the end of the program, please come back up to the stage for a group picture. Now I would like to take the opportunity to thank our judges who had a very challenging task in selecting this year's winners. Thank you to Kimberly Becker, Betsy Brennan, Chris Bryant, Teresa Clements, Donna DeBerry, Lisa Easterly, Lydia S. Martinez, and Nancy Rowland Heinrich. Let's give them all a round of applause. All right, now it's the time to announce our winners. Presenters, when I call your name, please come to the stage. Alessandra, can you come on back to present our first winner in the Rising Star category?
Wonderful. You thought you had enough of me? All right, drum rolls. Here we go. It's a pleasure to be here, Barb. Thank you for having me. And I love recognizing all of these amazing women. The first award category is our Rising Star Women Business of the Year. This award recognizes CEOs who have been in this position 3 years or less. The winner is, drum roll, Carrie Bobb. Carrie Bobb is the founder and CEO of Carrie Bobb and Company, CEO of Hello Jenny, and co-founder of the Carrie Bobb Foundation. Carrie began her real estate career in 2003 and has completed transactions totaling over $2 billion in total consideration. Carrie has successfully designed and executed leasing strategies for some of San Diego's most notable and high-profile retail projects, including One Paseo, Flower Hill Promenade, The Village at Pacific Highlands Ranch, Encinitas Village, and several others. Carrie launched Carrie, Bobb & Company in 2019, which specializes in ground-up mixed-use developments. She and her team are currently leasing the retail components for rad IQHQ's 1.7 square foot mixed-use development in downtown San Diego. Also, in 2019, Carrie and her sister Christina created the Carrie Bobb Foundation. The foundation's first campaign is I'm with Carrie, which prevents sexual assault in the workplace by encouraging companies to voluntarily change policy to exclude sexual assault and rape from arbitration clauses in employment contracts. Carrie's story was the inspiration behind legislation. Part of her life's work is advocating for lawmakers to support legislation and for companies to change their policy voluntarily prior to the bill passing. Please, everyone, join me in congratulating Carrie Bobb.
Okay, I didn't know that I would have to say anything, but my daughter is here who's 9. Charlie, where are you? We did it! I really do feel like this is a team award because I have so many amazing women at Carrie Bobb & Co. Mackenzie, I mean, she's my right arm. They call us McCarrie. And Emily Jones is my partner. She's in Arizona working with a client, and I had sent her the invite, and I was like, I really feel like this is like a dual award because when you're coming back from something tragic in your life and someone believes in you and says, yeah, I can run with that idea. Emily did that for me. So I have a ton of women and my husband and family that have supported me. And I can't even believe I'm standing up here. But thank you. This is really incredible. And I love your energy. And I was like, I've got to go find her afterwards. This is just the coolest thing. Thank you.
Congratulations, Carrie. Our next presenter is Kathleen Medina, Vice President, Senior Trust Officer, the Private Bank, Union Bank. She'll be presenting the category in the small company category.
Thank you, Barb. On behalf of Union Bank, it is our honor to present the winners in the small company category. The first winner is Pamela Gardner, President and CEO of Biotech Vendor Services, Inc., BVS. In 2003, Pamela founded BVS to assist biopharma companies and research institutes to streamline their vendor management and supply chain through customized scientific, clinical and manufacturing, and supplier diversity events. BVS has held over 2,500 events, gained a roster of over 1,000 nationwide clients that include many of the top biopharma companies and suppliers. Having been in science industry for 18 years, she truly understands the issues that women are facing in science. In 2019, she created a nationwide initiative called Women Breaking the Barriers of Science and Their Male Champions to address the external issues women are facing in STEM. Then in 2021, she created a nationwide initiative called The Art of Women Thriving in STEM to address the internal barriers that women are facing to get them to their highest potential. BVS crashed during the pandemic by 75%, and Pamela was able to pivot the business successfully into a virtual model and to offer more women empowerment programs. And in 2021, BVS is more profitable than pre-pandemic. Please join me in congratulating Pamela Gardner.
Thank you so much. This is such an honor. It was a tough year in 2020, and it's such an honor to be standing here. I love the San Diego community, and I love the panel and everything they spoke about. As women, we really have to be advocates for ourselves and do the inner work, and also support and champion other women. I see so many women that are only 1 foot away from getting what they want. They have this inner critic, this imposter syndrome going on, but we as women need to know we can go for anything that we want. And if you had said when I started my company, would I ever be standing here, I wouldn't have thought that, but here I am, and it's such an honor. Thank you.
The next winner is Anna Crowe, CEO and founder of Crowe PR. With more than 20 years of professional experience, Anna has successfully scaled Crowe PR to over 1.5 million in under 4 years, which only 2% of female-owned businesses have achieved. She is the best-selling author of Get Real, The Power of Genuine Leadership, A Transparent Culture and Authentic You. Local companies like Dermtech, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, Everyday California, Slate Law Group, Saffron and Sage, and Liberty Station have achieved strong brand awareness at both the local and national level because of Anna's ability to create meaningful connections between these brands and their target audience. Despite the difficulty of the past year, Crowe PR has grown its revenue by 250% since the middle of 2020 and increased its clients' roster by 25%. Signing a number of Fortune 500 brand public companies and healthcare startups. Crowe PR has also doubled its social media influencer marketing department to meet increased demands for these services. Please join me in congratulating Anna Crowe.
Well, thank you all so much. This is really cool. For the lack of words, as a PR professional, we don't get tongue-tied, but I am a little tongue-tied. First of all, thank you to my incredible team. I know a lot of what you said was about our team, and that's really what it is. That's the success behind me, my community of entrepreneurs and business professionals here in San Diego and across the world just plays such a big part. It's such a big part of my life, as well as my family. And I will share a quick story with you guys. When I was 8 years old, I was living in Moscow. So I grew up in a communist regime, and thinking about coming to America was like going to the moon. You might as well just shoot for the stars, go to the moon. And I remember at 8 years old, I wanted to be a businesswoman. And my reasons were really simple. My dad was a businessman, and he got to wear a suit, travel the world, and bring home souvenirs. And those are the things I wanted to do. So I said, that's what I'm going to do, be a businesswoman. And it reminded me, that story reminded me of when you guys were talking about the crown and the hat and all those things. The business suit was kind of the symbol. And fast forward to many years later, and I've had the privilege of getting an undergraduate education and a graduate education here in the US. I got to work for some incredible Fortune 100 and 500 companies and with those companies. And 6 years ago or 5 years ago, I got to start my own business here in arguably one of the most beautiful cities in the world and live out my American dream. I got to get married, have 2 boys who are being raised by a female CEO, which I think is kind of cool, and seeing the power of our family and all of that. But also, more importantly, I get to now create jobs, contribute to society, contribute to the economy, sit in a lot of different boards and give back to organizations, nonprofits, and other businesses who are just figuring it out. And that has been really remarkable. And so for me, receiving this is just truly an honor. But I'll also say that I still like to wear a suit, travel the world, and now bring my boys souvenirs. Thank you.
The final winner in the small company category is Chelsea Wilson, founder and CEO of 3CS. Chelsea founded 3CS, a production-focused experiential marketing agency, in November 2020 and hit $1.52 million in revenue in her first year of business. She's brought her experiential marketing expertise to the San Diego community, producing immersive experiences for multiple San Diego's companies, including Humble, C3 Bank, Wonderbus Entertainment, Monarch, and others. Since starting 3CS, she has led projects for global brands, including Google, Netflix, and Lincoln. In addition to creating engaging consumer experiences, her events often have a philanthropic focus. She partnered with Del Mar Plaza and Del Mar Village to execute a socially distant Santa experience for families during the 2020 holiday season. All proceeds for the event were donated to Fuel the Frontline San Diego, an organization supporting local restaurants and medical frontline workers. During the holidays last year, she collaborated with Lincoln and American Forest Foundation in a project that raised $25,000, resulting in 25,000 trees planted in the U.S. Starting in June 2021, she became Chief Experience Officer of Dream Han, working along co-founders Ernie Han and Bobb Ridgway. Please join me in congratulating Chelsea Wilson.
Hello. Wow, this is such an honor. Thank you so much to the San Diego Business Journal, all the sponsors. Thank you, Barbara. This is truly such a treat. I started off my career in New York City, and I honestly have to say that's kind of was what got me thick skin and empowered, which is what this is all about. I went to LA as well afterwards and had some amazing opportunities. And then a year ago, just moved back to San Diego. My husband and I, we both grew up here, so it's nice to be back home. And I launched 3CS. Actually, 3CS just turned 1 about earlier this month, actually. And it has been super, super rewarding and empowering. I have a team of all females right now. And to me, what I love the most about what I do is obviously being back in San Diego and working with amazing clients and bringing brands to life, but also just mentoring, mentoring local students who have reached out, especially during COVID when our industry was very slow. Just talking to them and doing Zooms and bringing them on board so that they could learn and teach and bring them under our wings, because that's how I learned, and that's obviously, as we heard from the panelists, what it's all about. But for me, my passion is feeling empowered. So this event in general has been amazing, and I congratulate all the other finalists as well. And thank you so much. This is such an honor. Thank you.
Okay, congratulations to all the small company winners. Now, let's please welcome back Lydia from Wells Fargo, who will be announcing the winners in the medium-sized companies.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Barb. It is such a pleasure to present the winners in the medium-sized company category. The first winner is Jennifer Barnes, CEO and founder of Optima Office. Jen was thrilled to sell her first company, PBO Advisory Group, a Fortune 1000 company, and use the funding to invest in her own business. Optima Office is an outsourced accounting and human resource firm with over 70 employees. It also provides fractional CFOs and COOs to companies in every single industry. Since the firm's inception in 2018, Optima has received numerous awards, including Best Place to Work, and had revenues of over $4.7 million, their second full year in business. During the pandemic, she ensured her employees' financial stability by not laying off one single employee and giving the team flexibility in their schedules to best address their needs during this difficult time. This past year, Jen expanded the services that Optima Office offers to further grow the business. The company now offers strategic advisory services, helping clients identify revenue potential, increase cash flow and profitability, prioritize cost-effective improvements, and operational efficiency. Being in a male-dominant industry, she pushed herself to be the best at her craft, and when faced with a glass ceiling, forged her own path by starting her own business. Please join me in congratulating Jennifer Barnes.
Wow, this is such an amazing honor. In a room full of so many successful and accomplished women, I just am humbled to be receiving this award. I mean, anything we can do to support each other and lift each other up, especially in such a crazy time in this pandemic. And I'm glad that it's over, hopefully, and that we're all able to be here in person together today. I really want to thank my team. Two of my executives are here today. And they asked if, oh, do you think you're gonna win? I said, oh, well, I've been a finalist 7 times, so probably not. But wow, no, I'm surprised, and thank you so much. I just live in such an amazing community and try to do whatever I can to help others. I love to mentor young women. I mentor at a couple different colleges. I'm a part of the Lavin Entrepreneur Program, and I'm on my 3rd student right now. And seeing them grow and learn and just be successful when they graduate is just, I just do it because I think it's the right thing to do, and it's something that some students don't get that opportunity. And so I love giving back and supporting others. So thank you very much for the award.
Wow. All right, let's see. The next winner is Tina Howe, Vice President of Bill Howe Family and Companies. Tina and her husband built the Bill Howe family of companies in 1980, where they prioritize integrity, extensive technician training, and giving back to the community. She has helped take Bill Howe Plumbing, a small plumbing business, to what it is today. The Bill Howe family of companies and family-owned and operated home service empire. Tina has not only spearheaded developments and advancements in the plumbing, HVAC, and restoration sectors, but she has done so while being philanthropic, a pillar in the community, and encouraging women to join this industry so heavily dominated by men. Over 40 years later, Tina and the Bill Howe family of companies continue to put these values at the forefront of the company. Tina spearheads philanthropy at Bill Howe with her continued support and volunteer work with the San Diego Food Bank, San Diego Humane Society, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater San Diego, the Warrior Foundation, Freedom Station, and more. Please join me in congratulating Tina Howe.
Thank you. Wow, this is an incredible honor, and I'm so nervous. Can you tell? Yes, it's an honor to be here and accept this award. Thank you to the Business Journal and also the judges for your time. My journey has spanned over 40 years in a male-dominated world, although I never really saw the challenges of the male-dominated field, because I've always been passionate about our company and driven to attain our goals. The biggest blessing in my life, I've got to say, are our 4 children that my husband and I raised to be extremely strong, powerful women. And they now actually hold the key positions in our business. And they're doing extremely well. Through the pandemic, it's them that made it happen. They figured out how to remote work our office staff and everything else that came with it, from the PPP equipment that was needed for all of our technicians, so that we could continue what we do. Because plumbing and heating and air is the health of the nation, right, folks? So, again, I'm really proud of them, proud of what we do, and wow, I'm proud to be here. Thank you so much.
And the final winner in the medium-sized company is Tracy A. Murphy, president and co-founder of IQHQ. Women in the C-suite are scarce in the commercial real estate industry, and even more so in the burgeoning life science sector. Tracy is a trailblazer. She has helped add more seats to the table and encourage more women to follow in her footsteps. With over 2 decades as a successful developer, Tracy co-founded IQHQ with 4 partners, all leaders in the life science REIT, R-E-I-T, category with long careers in life science commercial real estate. She and the IQHQ team have raised over $2.6 billion through 2 major equity transactions in 2020. IQHQ is well-funded and well-positioned to pursue the company's dynamic development pipeline. In just 2 years, Tracy has led a team that completed acquisitions and major transactions that resulted in nearly 6 million square feet of state-of-the-art life science districts in San Diego, San Francisco, and Boston. She is one of the visionaries behind IQHQ's $1.6 billion research and development district, which will transform downtown San Diego's waterfront into an iconic life science district that combines life science industry opportunities with lifestyle amenities to attract top employers and diverse local talent. Please join me in congratulating Tracy A. Murphy.
Tracy is not here today, but we will make sure that she gets this award. All right, congratulations to all the medium-sized company winners. And now for our final award category, Anna Araya, Executive Director, JP Morgan Chase & Company, will present the winners in the large companies category.
Thanks, Barb. JP Morgan Chase & Company is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the San Diego Business Journal Women's event, and it is my privilege to present the recipients in the large company category. The first winner in the large company category is Diane Hansen, President and CEO of Palomar Health. Diane has more than 15 years of experience in the healthcare industry, to include for-profit, not-for-profit, and governmental acute care hospitals in both academic and medical centers and community hospitals. She has extensive experience in physician networks, insurance providers, and consulting, as well as expertise in the areas of strategic and financial planning, decision support, and clinical business operations. When Diane stepped into the president and CEO seat of Palomar Health in late 2017, the healthcare district was financially unstable and in immediate jeopardy of losing Medicare certification. She knew it would take being bold, brave, and swift to get Palomar Health back on the road to success. In a matter of 3.5 years, she accomplished more than would seem possible. Under her leadership, Palomar Health has repositioned itself as the preeminent integrated healthcare delivery system in North San Diego County. She has improved operating income by $28.5 million by increasing revenue and reducing expenses. In addition, she secured $125 million in new capital with a bond refinancing that improved bond ratings and saved taxpayer dollars. Please join me in congratulating Diane Hansen.
Wow, how exciting. I honestly did not think that I was going to win today, much like the other nominees within this room. And I'm so proud to be here. I'm very fortunate to work with an amazing team of both men and women. And I have two really incredible women, which I'm so proud to work with, that are here with me today, Kristen and Sheila. You know, just love the both of you and appreciate your support, your kindness, the strength that you carry every day. I'm honored to work with you, and so I appreciate that you all took the time to nominate me. I was very fortunate growing up to have a really strong father that told me that I could do or be anything I wanted to be. And if he were still alive today, I think he would be pretty pleased to know that he empowered me to rise to a level of success that I didn't think I could at certain times in my life. So I'm honored to be here, thrilled to get this award, and privileged to be in a room with all of you who I'm sure deserve this award as much as I do. So thank you, and thank you to the San Diego Business Journal. Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
All right. The second winner is Teresa Campbell, President and CEO of San Diego County Credit Union. In the 10 years Teresa has served as president and CEO, membership has more than doubled to 425,000, and SDCCU has grown from $5 billion to over $10.7 billion in assets. At the onset of the pandemic, SDCCU's guiding principle was people come first and profits second. SDCCU provided loan payment relief to customers, deferring over thousands of loans totaling more than $1.3 billion in balances. To better serve members and improve access to SDCCU's products and services, SDCCU launched its improved online banking platform, which has proven to be a valuable resource during the pandemic for customers. In 2020 alone, with the financial health of individuals at the forefront of SDCCU's community outreach, SDCCU hosted 269 free financial wellness presentations to over 4,200 attendees. So far in 2021, they hosted more than 160 community presentations to over 3,200 attendees. Please join me in congratulating Teresa Campbell. Unfortunately, Teresa is not able to join us today, and the SDBJ team will make sure that she receives her award. All right, now for the final winner in the large company category. The winner is Mary Cheeks, President and General Manager of Jamul Casino. In an industry where women make up roughly only 15% of the executive team, Mary serves as a trailblazer and role model for young women in finance and gaming professions. She is an industry veteran with 30 years of experience. She and her team have established Jamul Casino as one of East San Diego County's top destinations in less than 3 years. During the pandemic, she became both a local leader and an industry-wide influencer for COVID safety. Jamul Casino became one of the first casinos in the nation and one of the first two in California to reopen after its initial closure last March 2020. Earlier this year, the tribe was also successful in completing a refinance for Jamul Casino. This deal was initiated in 2019, but was sidetracked due to the pandemic. However, due to its stability to operate safely and successfully, Jamul Casino was able to attract lenders to complete the transaction. In addition to building strong daily operational performance, Mary has recognized opportunities for expansion with the new business ventures, including Jamul Casino's poker room and its newest outdoor venue, the Rooftop. Mary has overseen numerous philanthropic efforts for the casino, including ongoing annual campaigns to support breast cancer research and veterans organizations. Please join me in congratulating Mary Cheeks.
As the other finalists said, I didn't expect this. But thank you very much for the award, and I'm very honored to be here today. At Jamul Casino, it's my first position on the West Coast. I grew up as an East Coast girl. I'm a Philly girl. And I love San Diego. I'll never go back east again. But it's all about the team. No one in the world could be successful without a team. It's not about just you. And we have a team of a little over 1,000 team members, and I believe in the service profit chain. Although you're a casino, it's 27 departments under that roof: food and beverage, finance, IT, gaming, entertainment, you name it. And out of those 1,000 team members, about 53% are female, and we all support each other. It's one team, one goal: to make our team happy, makes our guests happy, and makes for a healthier bottom line. Thank you.
All right, everybody, congratulations again to all the winners. This concludes our program. A special thanks again to our judges, panelists, and our sponsors. I'd like to remind everybody that you can read about all of our honorees in our upcoming edition on December 6th, as well as our digital platforms. And this entire event will be on our site, sdbj.com. And lastly, let's all make the commitment to empower and support each other, because empowered women empower women. Thank you.